Small indie games on Steam really don't get as much love as they deserve. They often get thrown to the wayside as another option in an overwhelming majority. However, today we will be giving our sights to a small game I found on Steam that I think is worth even a quick little play. Good evening all, I'm Sin and welcome to Horror and Chill, the lovely online web series where I talk about a horror related topic and the vibes are chill. Tonight's topic? Quiet is the Eyes. Quiet is the Eyes is a free game developed by Sakura Perry and Ali Wu. Released on Steam on December 18th, it's a side-scrolling game created in collaboration with students from the Berklee College of Music. Though of course you can learn this all from the Steam store page, so what happens in the game? We play as Adeline, a scientist who was seemingly both asleep and abandoned in the wake of a giant monster attacking her facility. Her entire mission is to escape the being and find out what exactly happened. The building was put into lockdown, thus inciting the puzzle aspect of the game. The game informs us that we should be warned about the monster approaching by its cues: dripping hands, dark silhouettes passing by, the ground shaking, and lightning, which is quite helpful if we want to solve these puzzles without dying the moment we enter a room. When it is at our doorstep, we can duck down into a cute little box form, which I personally just adore. Now, the first puzzle is fairly easy. Interacting with items tells you about a number that's shown in a specific color. Then you come across flowers in the order corresponding to the input you have to do for the number with that color. That was a mouthful, but I hope that makes sense. While you're doing this, you have to avoid the monster outside that will gladly come in and finish us off, if we're not careful. The whole game isn't very long. The only issue I ran into was a very large skill issue. See, I am someone who uses her brain cells for very specific things, typically passionate talks about my interests. So when the second test suddenly asks us to solve a number riddle, I don't actually know if that's what it's called, but that's how it felt. My brain actually just completely melted in my skull, and I was completely stumped, so for an amount of time I wouldn't want to disclose, I tried to figure it out by myself with my notes app and my phone and sheer utter determination. I failed. And obviously at some point that determination ran dry and my brain was under mush. I tried to find someone else who had played the game and gotten past it. Lucky for me, I had found one single playthrough where they had figured it out and progressed in the game. As much as I can talk about things that require a decent bit of knowledge, my brain goes into actual smooth mode when numbers are brought into the equation. Anyway, the passcode is 664, saving you all the trouble of figuring it out if you actually play the game. The next room you enter has a computer and a key. As many probably figured, the beast that's outside the facility trying to catch us is a being that the facility created that had escaped. The next puzzle didn't cause my brain to go smooth mode, much like the second one did. This one was actually a bit easier to go through, just general math, which is something I can handle. This is going to be my time to say I really appreciate the detail and the art of this game. Graphically, this game has a very appealing pixel art design. Though, when it gets to show you more detailed art pieces, they are also well drawn. Adeline's own design is something I actually just really like. Maybe it's the lavender hair and the little plant sprout, but it made her a very enjoyable protagonist to play. Along with its graphically pleasing nature, the game's music is also very fitting for the environment. Just an overall very pleasantly put together game. You pass through the third puzzle and you reach your recorder. You hear a scientist's final moments as they talk about hearing noises in the walls, outside the walls, feeling watched. Then we are met face to face with the eyes that would linger out our window. Adeline breaks into a chase, and now you must hit the arrow keys while running from the monster. All the while, Adeline will pause your arrow hitting to tell us how she doesn't want to die, that she's gonna make it out of here. Eventually, she sees the door, and with a final press of the arrows, she escapes the building. Met with the sunrise, she can't stop running. She doesn't care to look behind her. All she knows is to keep running. The sunrise is beautiful, even if it's a blur. That doesn't matter. She'll be seeing it tomorrow. For a free game on Steam, this is actually a nice game to play. As crowded or simply bland Steam can feel with its cacophony of pure sludge or simply uninteresting games, this is a nice break from the experience. The gameplay isn't anything revolutionary. With the very basic and easy to understand mechanics, the puzzles are neat, though of course my own lack of mathematical skill is why I had such trouble with the second puzzle, so others may find it easier compared to me. Though I still found them creative and enjoyable. Graphically, the game is just very pleasing to look at. The artist did a great job at designing the sets, and the art for Adeline herself is again just very pleasant. I hope that developers continue to make games and hopefully get to really show off all they can do. Telling more stories, even simple ones like this, can be appreciated as a break in our current indie game scene. If you have the chance, I heavily suggest playing this game. It's free on Steam and not at all disappointing aside from just being short. I'm Sin, this is Horror and Chill. Remember to drink water, and good night.